What's good? This is 2 Ounces Kicks, and this is today. I want to go over what Kicking It with Kicks is. It's just gonna be me talking about the game. I love basketball, especially NBA. Slowly trying to get into the WNBA, trying to learn all the players and such. I want to get back to college basketball. I just want to talk about my passions. I'm still learning some basketball terms, even though I've been a fan since I was little. I've never been really taught a bunch of basketball terms, but I really want to go more into why I love the game, what's interested me, my thoughts on things. And then I'm a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. I'm from Ohio, northeast of Ohio. I like the Ohio State Buckeyes college-wise. I like Kentucky Wildcats, and I'm a Kent State alum, so I love Kent State University. And I just want to try to grow my talking skills and give my thoughts and opinions on things. So mostly I'm going to be talking about basketball. A little bit of sneakers, because my channel is called 2 Ounces Kicks, and I call myself Kicks because I love sneakers. It's originally supposed to be a sneaker reviewing channel and a gaming channel. I'm trying to switch that slowly and be really dedicated to this. And then for my last part of the segments of Kicking with Kicks, I want to keep it pop culture. Maybe I'll talk about an anime show I was watching, like, say, One Piece, the most recent episodes of One Piece. Or I'll talk about Marvel. I love Marvel. Just watched the first 3 episodes of Ironheart. Superman's coming out, so I just want to be very diverse. So the first topic of today, I want to go over the 2025 NBA Finals. Congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder. It was amazing finals, a whole playoff run for them, and the regular season was amazing for them. I believe they had 68 wins on the season. SGA was spectacular, getting the MVP and Finals MVP. I would have been happy either way with either team winning. I think both of their fan bases have been amazing. They really both deserved it. I was slightly rooting more for the OKC Thunder because I have a slight connection to them. My first ever win on 2K was with OKC against my brother. That was something special to me because I would always lose them all the time. And I remember winning that first game in 2K11 with Westbrook, KD. That was such a special time. That's definitely my favorite 2K of all time. But I have done a project of redesigning the logo, and I talked to some of the fans in the Reddit. One of my homies off of Twitter is a Thunder fan, so I was rooting for them. But this really was one of the best final series since 2016. The only other series that I would have in competition with it for being the best since 2016 is the Bucks and Suns series. That series was great. But I love how this underdog Pacers team almost proved everybody wrong. They was making comebacks. They was sometimes even shutting out the Thunder, just like they blew them out in that one. I think it was Game 5 or it was Game 6. They blew them out to force the Game 7. Tyrese Halliburton had a spectacular playoff run, and it's so unfortunate that Game 7, that injury, it sucked the life out the game for me. I was just kind of just watching, but not really locked in like I was prior to that. Him hitting 3 3-pointers in a row was insane. I think he would have had a historic game. The Pacers could have went on to win that game because when he scores about 20 or more, they have a high winning percentage. So that's all I really want to go over about with that, because you probably heard a bunch of people talk about the stats and stuff, what this means for them. I'm just really happy for OKC, their fan base. I didn't like what I seen. I think it was a mother and her son. They was walking back from the game and getting harassed by Thunder fans. That was so stupid. Why are you bothering a mother and their son? They're not calling you out your name or anything. I seen there was this one content creator. He was trying to guide them throughout the crowd. In some posts, he was getting blamed because in another view, it looked like he was maybe bothering him, but he was guiding him. So I thought that was very lame. The parade was nice. Some of the first shots I think they really should have had, like how they sectioned off the crowds. It looked very small, like no one showed up. But then when they was actually on stage, it was a huge crowd. But very happy for them, well deserved. And I do want to go into my next topic about the NBA Finals, though. This is more so about Puma Hoops. I was very disappointed in how they presented the Tyrese Halliburton's signature shoe. They didn't promote it that well. Like the first image you got was like kind of like a sneak peek. It wasn't a full 360 look at the shoe. They didn't run like an ad campaign. They didn't have a commercial ready or anything. It was very weird. It felt like they didn't fully invest in him. Maybe they was waiting to release the shoe next season and just there's this magical playoff run happened. And they was like, let's give him his shoe now during the finals. But there was no storytelling. Like when Anthony Edwards dropped his shoe, you had the commercials with him and his I believe his childhood friend that helps him out, his like partner, in commercials talking to each other. You had the posterizing commercials where it's a crime scene. We didn't get any of that. Even the Converse, they gave a little bit for SGA. They release new videos for every shoe he has, but I don't see it plastered everywhere on social media. Like I'm watching a YouTube video, I don't get an ad for the SGA shoe. And I definitely didn't see enough Tyrese Halliburton. When I looked on their page, just really nothing. It's like bad promotion. I was super disappointed in that. Like you have this historic run happening and you don't capitalize on it. Where's a way to emotionally tie us? Like I know Tyrese is already having this run, but you can add to it even more. I would have loved the commercial of like maybe Tyrese is shooting in the gym. You have either his dad or Reggie Miller talking in the stands, talking about, oh, the doubters, what they're saying, calling you overrated. Are you ready for the moment? And then maybe a slogan pops up. Like something simple like that would have worked. But they gave him nothing, and I was disappointed. Like his game winner when he in game one pulled up for a midi. Cash. Imagine if a commercial came on after that game. Would have even been better if they had Puma members have early access to the shoe. That would have been huge. I think that would have sold so much. I mean, I think the shoe was going to sell a lot because a lot of people gravitated toward this run and Tyrese Halliburton. But like, you could have fully capitalized in the moment because you didn't know if Tyrese was going to win or not the finals. And I feel like after that game, you could have did some early pre-orders or whatever, and they would have sold out so fast. I still think it's going to sell very well, but it's just like they didn't capitalize on any of the moments to me, and that was very disappointing. Okay, the next thing I wanted to talk about is trades that happened before the NBA draft. So the first one was the Houston Rockets getting Kevin Durant, and the Phoenix Suns getting Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the 10th overall pick, the 59th pick, 2 2026 second round picks, a 2030 second round pick via Boston, and a 2032 second rounder. So I think this was an amazing trade for the Houston Rockets. When they were facing the Golden State Warriors, it just felt like they needed a closer, and they didn't really have that anybody. Fred VanVleet tried to close at times. He's a great scorer, but at the same time, he's so small that double teaming him and putting taller guys on him really bothers him. That's what you really wanted Jalen Green to be, was your elite scorer in the clutch time. We just give you the ball and you go create. But he was just very inconsistent, and they needed some consistency in their life. And I think Kevin Durant brings that perfectly. Like, when you see KD pull up for a shot, you think he's making it almost every time. And they ain't nobody in the league that can guard KD. it's just ridiculous. The only person that might be able to do it now is maybe Wemby, but like everybody else, they probably not blocking KD's shot. He's a for sure bucket. He's clutch. He's big time. He's a person that draws names to your team. And I think it was a relief for the Houston Rockets because they didn't know if they could trust Jalen Green. I know it's his first playoff series, but you just don't know if his day-to-day, like, is he going to be reliable enough for you to make it to a Western Conference Finals or even the NBA Finals. So I think it was okay giving him up. You also have a bunch of young assets on your team. Dylan Brooks kind of hurt a little bit because he brings a certain type of grit. Like he changed the culture to a degree. Like he brought some winning nature to that team. His defense is replaceable, but it's going to be hard to replace. Because he can provide scoring times, but he was a consistent guy you look to go score. The 10th pick, that's nice for the Phoenix Suns to get, but for the Rockets, I say it don't really matter too much because they just drafted Reed Sheppard, who was the 3rd pick, and he barely got PT. I think now this gives him more of an opportunity to shine and, pick up some minutes. But who's to say that 10th pick would have really got minutes, or who's to say they turned out good on the team? Because, they're developing so many players at the same time. Even though it's meshing right now, I don't know if adding another young piece would have worked out. It could have not, but you don't know. So you just trade it away, and then the second round picks we don't care about, to be honest. They could turn to something. They could have used for future assets, but the Rockets won this trade to me. But I will give Suns credit for getting the 10th pick, getting a young guy like Jalen Green, who I'm surprised they did not trade. I think because his value wasn't too high, but I think he could get it back up in Phoenix. Got Dylan Brooks, who's a winning player. All that on short notice of KD went out. But I think the Suns also didn't handle the situation too well. I think they should have let it be known that they were trading Kevin Durant, or trying to trade KD during the trade deadline. I think they should have kept it under wraps and waited till the offseason. I think they would have got a bigger deal. The next trade is the Portland Trailblazers receiving Drew Holiday, and the Celtics receiving Anthony Simons and 2 future second-round picks. This trade really surprised me because I knew Drew Holiday was probably going to leave because the Celtics need to get cap space, but it surprised me that the Trailblazers wasn't already looking for another team to dish him off to. I think they wanted to keep him as a vet to help the young guys learn from him, just develop their skills. But I heard Drew Holiday is reported to be pissed that he was traded there. At these stages in his career, he probably just wants to be part of a winning team. I mean, he got traded to the Bucks, won a championship, got traded for Dame, and then went to the Celtics, and I got traded for Anthony Simons. I understand being pissed off. You won 2 championships, and you got traded off of both teams. That's insane to really think about. But they still have the chance, to maybe move him off during the trade deadline or before the season starts. I understand trying to get a vet, but not to where his value is. I feel like you would have to just ship him off and get a lower tier value vet. Maybe a Bradley Beal, because his contract's so huge and he's going to be off of it pretty soon. He can help some of the young guys learn from his experience and such. Like how the Wizards got CJ McCollum. I know that's a trade we're going to talk about later, but how they got CJ, how they got Marcus Smart and Chris Middleton. I think that's a great way to get a vet that's not too valued in their own right. For the Celtics, this is great. It's absolutely great. Get a young point guard that has a lot of offensive potential. His defense is not really there, but they got some guys that can back that up to a degree. I think it's fantastic. You also got them 2 second round picks, which I was surprised they had to ship off to get Drew with such a young talent, but it's a great move for the Celtics. The next trade was Kristaps Porzingis and a second round pick going to the Hawks, Terrence Mann and a 22nd overall pick going to the Nets, and then the Celtics receiving George Niang and a second round pick. Now I knew Kristaps Porzingis' value was going to be lower, and they were just going to try to mostly salary dump him because they wanted to avoid the second apron taxes and such. But to receive George Niang and a second round pick, that felt very low, even for what I felt Kristaps was supposed to be at. I know he was having health problems and such, but like, Niang is not a terrible player. He can provide some offense. He has questionable decision making at times, but like, he doesn't feel like someone that should start on the team, someone that should come off the bench. It's just crazy to see him be traded for Kristaps Porzingis, who could potentially have a very good season coming up. But for the Hawks, it's a great risk to take because it's low risk, high reward. You get rid of Terrence Mann that you probably really don't care about. I think this was their second round pick they traded to the Celtics, but Terrence Mann has a bad contract. He wasn't really providing much for them. They take a risk on getting a really good center potentially. For the Nets, they get a pick and they take on a bad contract. I don't know how to feel about this risk. I feel like the Celtics could have got a little bit more potentially, but I think the Hawks are the winner of this trade pretty easily. If everything pans out, if not, maybe the Nets then for the second 22nd pick. Now let's talk about the CJ and Jordan Poole trade I alluded to earlier. The Pelicans received Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey, and the 40 overall pick. The Wizards received CJ McCollum, Kelly Olynyk, and a future second round pick. I don't know which year on it. This felt very weird and out of the blue. I knew the Pelicans was going to trade CJ probably at some point. He's just kind of older, you want to get a little bit younger. You got DeJounte Murray to play point guard. Even though CJ could play point and shooting guard. It just felt like it was time to move on. But getting Jordan Poole kind of confused me because I thought maybe they would go for more of like a more focused playmaker, not another scorer. I like that Jordan Poole is off the Wizards so he can try to get back to himself while the others develop. The Pelicans don't really need people necessarily to develop like the Wizards do. I kind of would have preferred to see Jordan Poole in a more winning situation. It's just so unfortunate after the Golden State Warriors situation. You get punched in a practice and get traded away to a non-winning situation, and now he's kind of in like a limbo. Because the Pelicans have a chance to do something, but like they always have health problems and such, and the West is so stacked. So I don't even know if they make the play in. They could most definitely, but the West is so stacked. I don't think they do. I think they just maybe miss it. Yeah, it kind of felt weird for them going out. It's nice to get to see Sadiq Bey in the 40 overall pick. The Wizards receive another vet and to add with Marcus Smart. So give some winning culture. Kelly Olynyk could play center for them. Get another person who has experience in the league. So it could be really nice for the Wizards to just be able to win some games. Have the young guys learn from some real vets compared to like Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma, Jordan Poole was still trying to find his way. Kyle Kuzma, not on the same hand. He was just, doing whatever he wanted. So yeah, very interesting trade. Man, I'm trying to record these segments in order, but I kind of want to give my live reaction. Miles Turner is going to the Bucks. He's signing for a 4-year, $107 million deal. Like, it has a 15% trade kicker. He won't be a free agent until 2028, 2029. And they're waiving Damian Lillard, who's injured right now with his Achilles. They're stretching out his contract. I don't know what the stretching out looks like, but that came out of nowhere. That was so unexpected. Like, we maybe thought Miles Turner would possibly leave until the finals. He said he wanted to come back to the team, but it's been reported by Shams that the Pacers don't really want to go into the luxury tax due to the Halliburton injury. Like, I'm shocked. Like, I thought he was a sure Pacer. I thought they were going to sign him. I literally told my friend last night, I was like, I don't think Miles Turner signed yet. I'm surprised. And he said he didn't. I said, no, he hasn't signed with the Pacers yet. And I just heard the Bucks being talked with DeAndre Ayton possibly going there. Like, him going there instead of to the LA Lakers. Like, this is so shocking. It's a good move for the Bucks to get them to be competitive now and for the short future. And I think Miles Turner is going to be a really good fit with Giannis. He's a good Brook Lopez replacement. He can rebound better than Brook Lopez. I wouldn't say he shoots better. I don't know what their actual percentages versus each other is. But he can stretch the floor most definitely. And then defense, Miles Turner plays some good defense. Like, and he's younger, so this is a huge upgrade for them. I don't know what else they're gonna do. But now they got Giannis, Bobby Portis. They brought pretty much everyone else back. I think Gary Trent, Taurean Prince, KPJ. But that's a huge upgrade. But it's crazy they waived Dame. Like, I'm shocked. This is the only way it would have worked, but I guess they want to capitalize on Giannis now so he doesn't request a trade soon. But it's going to be weird how they pivot from this. And now Dame is a free agent. He can decide anywhere he wants to go to. I think he'll personally wait until he's healthy to see how everything plays out. The teams I would personally like to see him on the most is either the Orlando Magic or the Minnesota Timberwolves. You know, Mike Conley's getting older. They do have Rob Dillingham, who's trying to make his way up. But, like, that would be pretty lethal if you have Damian Lillard, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, and Rudy Gobert. Like, that's a nice starting five. That could be tough. And then the Magic have another scoring punch. They already got so much defense around them. They wouldn't have to get rid of Suggs or Tyus Jones. They could put Suggs at the 2, honestly. You could then put Bane at the 3. Well, actually, no. Because that would mean Franz and Paul. So, nah, scratch that. But that still could be a nice fit. Maybe just have Suggs come off the bench. That's another scoring punch for them. Kind of don't hope he go to the Miami Heat, even though he did want to go be there before. I know a big selling part of that is he was buddies with Jimmy Butler, but he's no longer there. But they also could try to throw him a bag if they make some moves. Some other potential landing spots I would like, not as much as the Timberwolves or Magic, of course, but the Denver Nuggets. That's if they want to pivot away from Jamal Murray. The Houston Rockets, if Fred VanVleet, if they're okay with him coming off the bench and, you know, not having Reed Shepherd kind of blossom potentially. Then team I wouldn't like to see, but it can happen. Celtics. You know, they got rid of Drew Holiday. They can't have him and Derek White as a pair. And if they want to move on from Anthony Simons, because I know they want to try to keep Al Horford. And then the Pistons. You can have K and maybe run the 2 or 3. He can still take up the ball at times and stuff and score on his own, but that'll be another scoring punch. They can have another real facilitator. They can play off of each other, and then they can stagger minutes together, so they can always have a playmaker on the floor. But this is a big move. Like it shocked me. Yo, so I'm actually recording this part the very next day. I tried to go over the free agent signings and whatnot, but the list I had didn't have anything. It had the money, but not every free agent sign, like re-signing and etc. So I'm on NBA.com now because it's been hard to find. I want to have them in groups, not when it happened in timeline wise. I kind of want to have the group signings, but NBA.com doesn't report the amount of money. They report the years, so I guess we'll just go through the players and the years that they're with certain teams. So first, let's go for the Atlanta Hawks. They got Nickeil Alexander-Walker on a 4-year deal, Luke Kennard on a 1-year deal, and Kristaps Porzingis in that 3-team trade. I think they're having an amazing offseason. They're really building a team around Trae Young, really trying to get his to shine, to just, make the playoffs, not for the play-in, and really compete. Because you never know what happens in the playoffs. Just luck, shooting luck, injuries here and there. You might have a big run. You might make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. You might even make it to finals. Like, we didn't think the Pacers were going to make it to the finals this past playoffs. So you put yourself in the best position to try to win, and they're doing that. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he's a good defender. He can hit some shots for you. Luke Kennard, you know if he's healthy, he's going to be knocking down shots. It's just the only problem. Will he be healthy? Kristaps Porzingis, is he going to be healthy enough throughout the regular season? And how good is he going to be? If they was able to get the Wizards' production of Kristaps Porzingis, that's going to be a bad team. But I got this team. I think they have to make the playoffs now for the play-in. Next, the Boston Celtics. They had received George Niang in that 3-team deal. Luka Garza agreed to a 2-year deal. Josh Bennett agrees to a 2-year deal. And Anthony Simons joins via trade. So, I really like them getting Anthony Simons. We have kind of talked about that already. Luka Garza is cool. They needed another center, losing some of their vital players like Luke Cornett. Potentially Al Horford, but we did hear rumors if they want to keep Al Horford, they're probably going to have to get rid of Anthony Simons. It's just been a weird offseason for them. They're not going to be as competitive, but they should still be in that playoff mix. I think Jaylen Brown and Derek White and Peyton Pritchard could find a way to really help this team still succeed. Next, the Brooklyn Nets. They got Daron Shot back for a 2-year deal. Zaire Williams back for a 2-year deal. They got Terrence Mann in a 3-team trade and Michael Porter Jr. in a Cam Johnson trade. I don't remember if I had talked about it, but if not, I'm going to talk about it now. I think it was a really good trade for the Denver Nuggets. We're going more in depth why I think it's so good for them when we go for their additions and such. But for the Nets side, it's good to try to move Cam Johnson for someone you think that could be something, that could be an asset later on the trade. This is somewhere MPJ could try to break out. He doesn't have a lot of pressure. He just kind of be that guy on a team that's not looking to compete. Nobody's looking for them to really be a playoff team or a playing team. They could be, because the East is not as powerful as it was, and they was playing really good ball at the beginning of the year last year. I can't remember if they got picks in this trade. Let me see if I can find that real quick. They sent MPJ an unprotected 2032 first round pick to Brooklyn. So they did get a pick as well. So that's really nice to have a pick for their future assets. Who knows what that pick will be in 2032. It might be the number 1 pick. So I think it's a good trade. I think they're in a same tier of players. Nice move for the Nets. We'll see how it pans out though. Next, let's go to the Charlotte Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets picked up Trey Mann back on a 3-year deal. Then they add Pat Connaughton via trade. Mason Plumlee agrees to a 1-year deal, and Colin Sexton via trade. I feel like they're trying to somewhat compete while developing the players they got for the draft. Some pretty nice signings. I didn't see him here actually, but I remember Spencer Dinwiddie is supposed to be going to the Hornets, I believe, on a 1-year deal. Okay, wait a minute. Here we go. I either read it and forgot I said it, or just went past it. So Spencer Dinwiddie is a nice vet to have on the team. Mason Plumlee is a nice vet to have on the team. You know, Mason Plumlee just feels like a Hornet to me. This team is going to try to find a way to compete. I could see them making the play-in. Do I see them make it past to make it to the playoffs? Probably not. But these are some nice signings. Try to, I think, change their narrative and maybe change their culture within. So I've been liking the offseason and the draft from the Hornets. Chicago Bulls, they re-signed Trey Jones for a 3-year deal. I'm surprised Trey Jones didn't try to find a new team, like maybe a more competitive team, but at the same time, he probably got a little bit back. He's making more than his brother currently. I don't think it's much more, but he might just really like it in Chicago, have some security. They might be trying to move on for Kobe White, so he might really be getting some minutes. But there's so many guards still in that team. Then they also got Isaac Okoro on the trade with the Lonzo trade. I'm really hoping Isaac Okoro can grow there and blossom. A lot of people haven't been happy that he was traded there from the Bulls side, which I understand because they also didn't get picks for Lonzo when they could have got a first-round pick at the trade deadline. So that really hurt. But there is a lot of fours on that team. And they already had to deal with Pat Williams, who hasn't really developed that much. But I think Isaac Okoro was, better than Patrick Williams. He brings very good defense. He could sometimes knock down corner shots. But I see why Bulls fans could be a little disheartened by the move. Then they just drafted a guy that seems like he's going to be a project who plays a forward. Miles Bazelis plays a forward, and he's been looking really good this past season. I think he'll be one of those guys in our league that we mentioned that we're talking about, like a second or third player on the team to try to win a championship. I think he might be one of those guys. But yeah, not a crazy offseason for the Bulls. I kind of want to see them trade Nikola Vucevic to get it done and over with. I wonder what that trade would look like. My Cleveland Cavaliers. Sam Merrill returns on a 4-year deal. Lonzo Ball joins via trade. Then Larry Nance agrees to a 1-year deal. On the vet minimum, I know. So, I'm really happy with this offseason so far. The only thing I was upset with, but I'm getting over it. Not being able to get Ty Jerome back. Just seeing that he was only making, I believe, $9 million. I'm like, the Cavs couldn't afford that, but maybe he wanted more from the Cavs. He said on his Instagram he would have loved to return, but they didn't offer him a contract to return. So that's very interesting, because why wouldn't you try to at least talk it out with him? Even if you thought he was going to be too much, at least see what his mindset was at. Maybe they was afraid of losing him, or maybe they just wanted a more defensive guard. Maybe that Pacers series really threw him away from him. But it was said that we would probably be able to only take Ty Jerome or Sam Merrill from avoiding that tax. Like, I think that's an $80 million tax on Dan Gilbert. So essentially he could have been paying like almost $90 million to keep both Ty Jerome and Sam Merrill. I just kind of felt like Ty Jerome offered a little bit more slight playmaking. His scoring creation feels like a lot. He's a little bit more consistent to me. Besides that Pacer series, and Sam, he's a great shooter, but he's a all right defender. Like, he can hold his own a little bit. Excuse me. he can hold his own a little bit, but at the same time, if he's not knocking down shots, he's not really providing too much. But I do like that we got Sam back. I'm very excited for this team. I'm hoping Craig Porter Jr. will take a step up. I think he can play throughout the regular season fine, but it's just, is he going to be ready for the playoffs? And I hope Jalen Tyson takes a step up. But I'm really happy with the moves. We needed a backup big, and I'm finally happy we got in Larry Nance on the vet minimum. Love Larry Nance, hometown guy, play some defense, can shoot a little bit, get some rebounds. This is a huge pickup for us. And if Lonzo stays healthy, that brother can ball. No pun intended. His defense, his playmaking, his drive, he wants it. And I love that about Lonzo. Next, let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks. Dante Exum returns on a 1-year deal. Kyrie Irving agrees to a 3-year extension. And they get D'Angelo Russell on a 2-year deal. Great moves by the Mavericks. They got 2 point guards to play while Kyrie Irving is out. Then you can put D'Angelo Russell as your 6th man when Kyrie comes back. He gives you some shot curation. He gives you some playmaking. If he really focuses on the playmaking department and tries to buy a little bit more into defense, I know he said he wanted to be like a Derek White type of guy before, but if he buys into this defense, just even a little bit, because he's going to have so much help on the court with a Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, a Derek Lively, a Daniel Gafford, like, this is going to be huge for them. The Mavericks are scary. The Mavericks are scary. I at least see them being a second-round team. Could make the Western Conference Finals if healthy. If Kyrie comes back nice and healthy, that's a very nice team, and they can make moves at the trade deadline. They got a lot of pieces, a lot of assets. That Dallas Mavericks team is doing their thing. Another team that's doing their thing, the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets acquired Bruce Brown on a 1-year deal. They get Cam Johnson via trade. And Tim Hardaway Jr. agrees to a 1-year deal. Then they traded for Jonas Valanciunas for Dario Saric. So let's talk about this. Bruce Brown hasn't been great, but since he's been gone, but he's a champion on the Denver Nuggets. He was at his best on the Denver Nuggets. Maybe that will bring some back of that confidence in him, that skill, because he should be really comfortable in Denver. Get to play with Nikola Jokic, who's going to draw so much attention. Jamal Murray now, Cam Johnson. I think we get some of that Bruce Brown back. I think he's going to be really good for this team. They just needed some more help. They took the OKC Thunder to Game 7 just not too long ago. And now they're getting these little pieces around to help them out. This is really nice. Cam Johnson. This trade was big for them. I didn't think they was going to trade MPJ. But I think it was the right move to make. He was making so much. You save some money for trading for Cam Johnson. I think Cam Johnson is a more reliable defender. He could shoot the ball like MPJ. I wouldn't say he's as lethal as a shooter as an MPJ when you think about it in his entirety, but he can knock down the ball. He has some real high IQ. I think this is just going to help them out a lot with that defensive mentality he brings. And then Jonas Valanciunas, having him as your backup big, because who has been the Nuggets' best backup big since Jokic has been dominating? Is it Dario? Is it DeAndre Jordan? I mean, DeAndre Jordan was playing some nice minutes, but he's older, and he ain't no current day, Jonas Valanciunas. Jonas Valanciunas gets some boards, get some post scoring. You get him to play like anywhere between 8 to 16 minutes a game. That's going to be huge. Jokic couldn't step off the court. He couldn't step off the court with the team falling backwards, giving up leads and such. I think Jonas could slightly hold it down for them. Just have a real center down below while he's gone. I think this is a great pickup for them. Not like that Jonas Valanciunas is just amazing player, but he's a really good backup big, and this will help out the Nuggets a lot. Tim Hardaway Jr., if he could just knock down some shots, big time for you. Big time. I'm loving this offseason from the Nuggets. Next, the Detroit Pistons. B-Ball Paul returns for a 2-year deal. They get Karis LeVert on a 2-year deal. They get Duncan Robinson on a 3-year deal. These are some nice moves. Getting B-Ball Paul back, provides some defense, some rebounding. Karis LeVert, it's going to be interesting to see how he plays with this team. He's more of a shot creator. He needs the ball in his hands, but having him off the bench might be huge. Just have someone else create, go get their bucket. He has tried his hand at catch and shooting. I really wouldn't say that's his strong suit, but he can do it to a degree. He tried to do it a little bit with the Cavs and somewhat with the Hawks. But I think his best ability is having the ball in his hands and creating. So I would have him come off the bench. I think that's a real nice move. Duncan Robinson on a 3-year deal via sign and trade. That's going to be really nice for them. Just a knockdown shooter for Cade to go pass it to. He's going to find his way to get open, and I think he's going to benefit this team a lot. I'm surprised he had left the Heat. To be honest, I didn't even know he was a free agent because I heard him in trade rumors. But I think this was a smart decision for him. Go get a little bag and go to a team that's fighting for something more than I think the Miami Heat currently. The Golden State Warriors, they done nothing. When I mean nothing. They lost Kevon Looney, I guess. They haven't decided what they're going to do with Kuminga yet. I don't know if it's going to be a sign-in trade. If they're just going to take him back. They're trying to look at Al Horford. Al Horford would be a really nice gift for them. At the same time, it's not like you rely on Al Horford to play so many minutes in so many games. He's older. He still can be very productive. But I would try to find 2 big men so he can play just a few minutes a night during the regular season. And when playoffs come, he's ready and prepared. But that'll be a really nice pickup for them. Play some defense, get some defensive rebounds, hit shots on that Golden State Warriors team. That's who they really need to target, really need to go get. Maybe try to find a trade for Kuminga. But yeah, they need to do something, honestly. It's not looking too great. The Houston Rockets. Steven Adams agrees to a 3-year extension. Aaron Holiday agrees to a new deal. Doesn't say the years. Jeff Green agrees to a new deal. I'm assuming these both are 1-year deals. Jabari Smith Jr. agrees to a 5-year extension. Jashawn Tate agrees to a new deal. And then Fred VanVleet agrees to a 2-year extension. Oh, and I forgot. They also got Clint Capella on a 3-year deal. We already know about the KD trade. And I forgot to say the biggest one. Dorian Finney-Smith on a 4-year deal. I think this team is making the Western Conference Finals. They have so much defensive versatility. It's actually ridiculous. To get Clint Capella, I didn't think Clint Capella was going to go there. I thought he was going to go to the Lakers or something. To steal him from all these different teams, when you already have Sengun, you already have a Steven Adams, and they were great together. Say if one of them happened to get injured, well, now you got Clint Capella down there. I know he's not a Sengun, and he might not even be what Steven Adams is today, but he can go get you some rebounds. He can be a little bit of a lob threat. Dorian Finney-Smith was great for Lakers. I'm surprised they let him go. The only reason I'm thinking is they're saving up for that 2027 free agency. They maybe try to offer him a 2-year deal. He's like, nah, I want 4 years. I believe he's 32. He probably wants the bag of security. And to go to a team like the Houston Rockets that already has so much. He can knock down shots for you on the wing, play defense, great 3-and-D player. That is huge. And to get Fred back, who's been a great playmaker, great voice for this team. You added Kevin Durant. KD. This team might make the finals, man. I truly do hope it's one of these 3 teams in the Western Conference Finals. The Thunder, the Mavericks, the Rockets. I know the Nuggets could also be there. That's my top 4 of the West right now. But a Thunder Rocket series, or I really do want to see the Rockets. I can't lie. I want to see either the Rockets against the Thunder or the Mavericks. I think that would be a fantastic series. They just got so much depth. Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason. They're thinking about trading Cam Whitmore. I think I just seen a report. Anthony Irwin said Cam Whitmore has been linked to Lakers and potential signing trade for Dorian Finney-Smith. That would be huge for the Lakers to get Cam Whitmore, but like that sucks for Cam Whitmore because I feel like he was a little bit of a fan favorite in Houston. He showed a lot of potential, but it might be really good for him to go somewhere else and spread his wings to get a real shot opportunity. But man, this Rocket team is looking nice. The Indiana Pacers, they have signed nobody. They traded for nobody. They lost Miles Turner. And they was linked to maybe try to get DeAndre Ayton, but it's like, what do they do now? I think Isaiah Jackson's on their team is like their only center. Thomas Bryant hasn't signed back. Does he try to go to a contender or see if he can get a little bag from the Pacers since Miles Turner is gone? He played really good in the playoffs and the finals. This hurts, man. For your team to make it that far and y'all don't pay the tax. I know Tyrese Halliburton's going to be out for a year, but like, y'all can try to say, next year we're going to be right back at it. And to give up on him, to somewhat lowball him, they try to offer him $20 million a year, and then he gets, I think, 26 from the Bucks. It just felt late, like a lack of effort, like they didn't really care about the fan base. Like, I feel so bad for them. It's just, you're on the top of the world and you kind of crash down. But a good thing for the Pacers is they made that trade with the Pelicans right before Tyrese got injured, getting their pick back. If they want to take, I wouldn't blame them. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to try to fight maybe to be a playing team. But like, if they was just to tank for one season and go get like a center in the draft, that would be beautiful. Or even if they fight for the play-in and try to get a late center, I think that's the move to do. Real heartbreaking season for the offseason for the Pacers, and a Game 7 for the Pacers. Hope they can get back to being real competitive because, man, Los Angeles Clippers, they got Nick Batum back on a 2-year deal. James Harden agrees to a 2-year extension, and Brook Lopez agrees to a 2-year deal. Didn't think Brook Lopez would be going to Clippers. I think I slightly heard a rumor. Another team, I know we keep talking about them, but the Lakers, I thought the Warriors should took a call on Brook Lopez. They probably have, the money, but like, I feel like this was a guy a lot of teams have been trying to see how they can get him. And for the Clippers to get him, Clippers going to be a dark horse, like, as usual. But man, like, that defensive duo of Brook Lopez and Zubac, like, imagine, like, Jokic was already having trouble with Zubac during the playoffs. But when he goes off the court, he doesn't get a break. You got Brook Lopez coming in, playing defense. The only thing he doesn't give you is rebounds, and he can shoot threes. That backup center depth is beautiful. I wonder if they would think about putting them on the court together at times. Like, Zubac down low, you got Brook Lopez getting wide open for threes. Then on the defensive end, oh my goodness. No one's going to that paint. Nobody's going to that paint. Only the real risk takers and high flyers, but man, that's a nice move for them. I wonder if they got any other moves they're going to make. I would like to see Chris Paul as a backup point guard on his team. It was reported that he wanted to play near his home in LA so he can be around his family, but at the same time, he wants minutes. There's a rumor he wants a starting position. Don't know what he truly wants because I love Chris Paul, but he's older. He's not really a starter in this league no more. I mean, he could go start with the Milwaukee Bucks. They need a point guard badly. But the Clippers, you're not going to get that. The Lakers, you're not going to get that. The Suns, you could get that. That would be very weird, though, because what do you do? Like, a D-Book, Jalen Green is D-Book at the 3? I doubt that's how that works. The Kings had needed a point guard, but they didn't seem to be interested in Chris Paul. Maybe because he's older, and then maybe they wanted someone that at least beat it for some years. I think it's just a weird situation. I hope he does end up on the Clippers. There's also a chance he might retire, but I doubt he retires. The Los Angeles Lakers, they agreed to a 2-year deal of DeAndre Ayton and a 2-year deal of Jake LaRavia. I don't have too much fun with Jake LaRavia, but besides, he's a solid player. Maybe he blossoms more on the Lakers because there's so much opportunity to find minutes to be productive. Now for DeAndre Ayton, it felt like he was a Laker. Even when they was talking about might be going to the Bucks, the Pacers has interest. It felt like he was meant to be a Laker after this buyout. This is like his do or die type of situation. Because we see with the trouble, like, you kind of wanted to be away from the Suns. He was having problems with them in the locker room and such. And then he tried to sign with the Pacers. They got him back. Then he gets traded to Portland. But he looked so bad out there. Not even like his skill set, but his lack of effort, his drive. Seemed like he had an ego at times, was being pouty. The whole mattress situation, like, you tell me you're $1 million player and didn't have a mattress for months. That's one of your excuses. You could have rented a crib. You could have bought a mattress. You could have sent somebody out to go get you a mattress. You could have asked the Portland Trailblazers. I'm sure they would have bought you a mattress. They got the money. I'm sure they would have done it. The Snowden situation, that was crazy. I know they was reported to try to get him and they couldn't get him. I don't know if the roads was too icy or whatever, but it's like that didn't feel like a drive to like go play. Like, your excuse was you got snowed in. Like, there was no way for you to get out. I disbelieve that, but say it was, okay. But all these other things of his lack of drive, getting benched because of his lack of drive, like, he should be ashamed and embarrassed, but hopefully this is a new beginning for him. He'll be a starter for sure. You're playing with LOUK, one of the best playmakers in the game. LeBron, also one of the best passers in the game. Like, you got ways to be a lob threat, to defend. I don't know if they're necessarily going to feed you down low, but I think they could because there's not a lot of options on this team. But he just needs to show that he can be professional and win once again. If he can show just even glimpses of that Suns run to the finals, that's going to be a big time pickup for them. This is going to be a really good season for them. But at the same time, the Lakers are lacking so much to me. They need so many defenders that they don't have. They got some offensive talent, but nothing too crazy. We just seen how they perform in these playoffs. It just felt like it was LeBron and LOUK at times. Also, Reeves didn't really have a great series. They just need more. So I think they're gonna have to make a trade, even if that's like Austin Reeves. If it's trading your picks, they got to make some move if they want to be real competitive for Luka. Because I don't understand the concept of waiting to 2027. I know there's some really good free agents potentially. That's if they don't sign extensions and such, but waiting that long when you have a top 5 NBA talent is ridiculous to me. Like, you traded for him and not trying to build a team around him yet. Like, you're gonna wait 2 years, take 2 years off his career, 2 years that could be huge for him. Is he going to stay by then? Because he doesn't need to stay. It's not like he was drafted there. He's been connected to the fans. He has been looking very motivated this offseason to come back and be very productive. But, like, they got to make a move, man. You just don't sit on the talent like that. Oh, we'll wait 2 years and we'll be fine. We'll try to make the ball. The Spurs are going to be better in 2 years. The Thunder could be better in 2 years. They got so many picks that they can move. The Rockets should be better in 2 years. You don't know what can happen in 2 years. There could be so much movement. Giannis could demand a trade. He could be in the West and not on your team. They got to do something to me, man. Or it's just going to be kind of a waste of a season. Next, the Memphis Grizzlies. They get Santi Aldama back on a 3-year deal. They get Jaren Jackson Jr. on a 5-year extension. They get Cam Spencer on a 2-year deal. Ty Jerome signs a 3-year deal. And then you get KCP and Cole Anthony in that trade. Now, for Cole Anthony, I heard that he might be bought out or look to be traded again. Probably bought out. They didn't have too interest to keep him on the team because they picked up someone like Ty Jerome. They already had Scottie Pippen Jr. For Ty Jerome, I wonder what his role is going to be on his team. What did they promise him? Like, do you integrate him by being just the sixth man? Does he start along with a Ja Morant? I think he played minutes with Ja Morant, but I would have him as my sixth man. So it's going to be really interesting what their minutes are going to be like, what Scottie Pippen Jr.'s minutes are going to be like. I think these are some nice re-signings and signs. You lose Desmond Bain, but you gain KCP and some picks. KCP is not the shooter or defender Desmond Bain is right now, but he can provide some shooting, hopefully. He wasn't too great this past season in Orlando, but if he get back to his Denver Nuggets ways and beforehand, this could be a really nice, not full-on replacement, but player to have with Desmond Bain leaving. You can play a little bit of defense. But it's just, where is this team going exactly? Maybe they're hoping on a lot of the young guys to develop and help this team take over, or if they're going to wait for the right trade piece. Because right now it kind of feels like they might be bordering a playing team. They could be a playoff team, just flat out, but they don't really feel like a contender. Yeah, but it's been a solid offseason for them. The Miami Heat. They get Davion Mitchell on a 2-year deal. They get Fontecchio in a trade with Duncan Robinson. I think Fontecchio could be nice for them. A nice offensive player. They was going to lose basically Duncan Robinson, so it's nice to get something for Duncan Robinson. I think Davion Mitchell has been huge for this team. They probably want a more talented player, maybe like Dame, but like he was a great defender, is a great defender, and his performance during the play-in and the playoffs was huge. It felt like he was one of the primary scorers. If he can develop that into something real for a whole season, that's going to help them win a lot of games. They're not really making no noise. They've been rumored to be in trades, to be interested in certain players, but it just feels like they're in limbo. Like, they feel like they're a playing team. Probably nothing more, nothing less. They got to make some move, find some way. Like, losing out on KD in a potential trade was pretty big. Like, they didn't want to offer some players reported, like a Jaime Jaquez and a Jovic. Like, I get you want to keep your young talent, but at the same time, why not go get a KD, one of the best scorers in the game today, one of the best scorers of all time. Like, it kind of messed around, be competitive, and the East was looking super wide open before this. Like, so I don't know why they didn't try to trade everything besides, say, a Bam, a Tyler Hero, and a Davion Mitchell. Maybe you try to keep Kelly. I would try to keep Kelly personally, but maybe that was the driving piece, like, to make it happen. But yeah, I don't know what Pat Riley's vision is. It might be time to get someone new in charge, so they can have a full-on direction, not just be this playing team. Milwaukee Bucks. KPJ returns on a 2-year deal. Bobby Portis agrees to a 3-year extension. Torian Prince comes back on a 2-year deal. Jericho Sam returns on a 2-year deal. Gary Trent Jr. agrees to a 2-year deal. Mikic joins on the via trade via the Hornets. Miles Turner agrees to a 4-year deal. Gary Harris agrees to a 2-year deal. It's nice to get a lot of your players back, so you can still have that camaraderie, that chemistry you already had from the playoffs and the second half of the season. Miles Turner is a big get for them. It sucks to lose out on Dame, but he wouldn't have been playing right away anyways. That defensive end is going to be so good with Giannis and Miles Turner. And then Miles Turner can space the floor for Giannis. Giannis could go dish it out to him. They should be a really good rebounding duo, even though he was struggling with that somewhat through the playoffs. This is a big get for them to be able to steal him from the Pacers. Weakens one of the other teams in the East while upgrades you. But they really need to find a point guard. This team is still not a contender, in my opinion. Giannis could do a lot, but as we've seen during these previous playoffs, he's going to need some help still. He can't do all alone. These guys are going to have to rise up. Kyle Kuzma is going to have to be something. Even if it was just a little something, like you can't go 0-0-0-0-0 in a playoff game while playing like 20 plus minutes. He needs to find some of that like wizard scoring, that, or find himself like he was on the Lakers, be a productive role player, play a little bit of defense, get some shot creating. But they do need to find a playmaker, man. I don't know who that is, but they need to go find somebody. If they had more assets, Kobe White would be a huge good for this team. I know the Bulls are looking to trade him. I doubt this happens somehow, but they just need to make some moves, because right now they feel like they might be the 6th best team out east, maybe. I don't know off the top of my head, but it just doesn't feel like enough. It's just enough to... Giannis agreed to this signing, of course. It was reported that he was upset about Dame, being waived, but at the same time, he said that kind of about Drew Holiday when he got traded. But do you discuss anything without Giannis? I highly doubt it if you want to keep Giannis. So maybe keep him for this season, but not the following season. We'll see what happens, though. Minnesota Timberwolves. Joe Ingles agrees to return on a 1-year deal. Julius Randle agrees to a 3-year deal. Naz Reid returns on a 5-year deal. Big for Naz Reid in the Minnesota community. Nice to get these players back. You really want these players back. They help contribute to winning. I think this would have been a team that would have been really nice to have Kevin Durant on it. But at the same time, it didn't happen. You move on from it. I think they should try to go for Damian Lillard, since he's been bought out. Like, you don't have to pay him much. You need a point guard. Because Mike Conley's just getting older and older. You want to win for him, but like I say, he's not the same guy. He can't move the same. You hope Rob Dillingham can really step it up and turn to something this season to be a real productive point guard for you. But I do like these re-signings. I hope they find a way to make another move to be competitive. Because it just feels like they need a little bit of something. Maybe it's just the point guard, but position they need something from. But solid moves. New Orleans Pelicans. They get Sadiq Bey via trade. Kevin Looney agrees to a 2-year deal, and Jordan Poole via trade. Not too sure what the Pelicans' exact game plan is, but I do like Jordan Poole. I think this will be a little bit of a resurgence for him. Sadiq Bey is nice to have at the forward position. Hopefully he can knock down some shots for you. And then Kevin Looney, I'm glad he left the Warriors. I know he was a long time Warriors. He meant a lot to that community, but at the same time, try to find somewhere where you could get more of a role. Like, the Warriors needed a big man, and they really didn't play him that much at times. But he was a really good rebounder, played some defense. Like, maybe this will be his chance to really shine. But at the same time, I don't know where the Pelicans see themselves as. Maybe a playing team that makes it in. It's just I don't know if they can stay healthy. Because if they are healthy, they can definitely be a playing team. They can definitely be a playoff team. But it's just the health has been a huge problem for them. I feel like if it doesn't work out, they need to make trades this season. Because you can't keep saying next year. Maybe recoup some picks because you gave up the Pacers pick. That would have been huge for you. You gave up your 2026 pick. So if y'all fail this season, that's going to the Hawks. And, like, this was a wasted season. I don't know what Joe Dumars is cooking up right now. I think it's a alright all season, but it doesn't really make me happy or intrigued of what this team could be. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're healthy and maybe they make it to a play-in and do great and prove me wrong. Next, the New York Knicks. They get Jordan Clarkson. It doesn't say what years on it. I'm assuming it's a 1-year deal. He just got bought out. Gershon Yabusele agrees to a 2-year deal. These are nice pickups. Gershon has been an effective role player. I think he's nice to have behind Carvey Towns, Mitchell Robinson. Like, a great pickup, rebound, play defense, do the little things. He seems like he's very passionate and gritty. Jordan Clarkson, if he can just, shot create off the bench, that's going to be big for them. Like, if Jalen Brunson's out and he can come on the floor and can just go get buckets, that's going to be huge. And it really didn't cost them nothing. These are just like 2 flyers you take on these dudes to upgrade your depth, because your depth wasn't very strong. Oklahoma City Thunder. SGA agrees to a 4-year extension. Is it AJ or AJ Mitchell, I believe? A 3-year deal to return. Jalen Williams agrees to a 3-year extension. They're the champions. What do I say? Great to re-sign your dudes. Keep the chemistry there. They might go back to the finals. They might not. But they should be the favorites, in my opinion. They just won. They kept their dudes. They're only gonna get older and a little bit better. So, and then you had your draft picks. You just made this. What can I say about this team? Very good offseason. Next, the Orlando Magic. They get Desmond Bane via trade. Then they sign Tyus Jones for a 1-year deal. Tyus Jones and Desmond Bane in your locker room as the vet voices is really nice. Desmond Bane's on Pride. A lot of offense for them from Franz and Paolo, who's been the only real scoring pieces of their team. He's going to knock down some threes, play some really good defense for you. Tyus Jones, he can create his own shots at times. He's a really good playmaker. Just a winning player. I think they're for sure playoff lock. This team is going to be really good and fun to watch. Next, the Philadelphia 76ers. They get Justin Edwards to return on a 3-year deal. Eric Gordon returns on a 1-year deal. Trendon Watford agrees on a 2-year deal. Not too many crazy signings. Just some nice solid role players. It's just really going to rely on how healthy is Joel Embiid going to be for you. I know Paul George still in trade rumors here and there. It'd be nice to maybe move him, save for 2 role players, or maybe a role player and a pick. But it's an alright offseason. Nothing too crazy. It felt like they could maybe got more. I forgot to say they don't have it on here, but Andre Drummond and Kelly Oubre are supposed to be coming back to the team, so that's really nice role players to get back. But yeah, it just mostly relies on Joel Embiid, how healthy he could be. If he's healthy, they're a playoff team, and they got a real chance to make it to the finals. The Phoenix Suns. They get Colin Gillespie to return a 1-year deal. Dylan Brooks via trade. Jalen Green via trade. Nigel Hayes Davis agrees to a 1-year deal. Mark Williams joins via trade. Pretty nice offseason considering they had to get rid of KD. Hopefully this will be a fun team to watch for Phoenix Suns fans. I think it's really nice they got 2 bigs in Mark Williams and Camille Mayuach. I don't know if I said his first name right. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I believe I did. But hopefully this team is just fun. I don't really see them being super competitive. They could be a playing team. Definitely not going to be a playoff team. And hopefully Jalen Green develops into something more than he is right now. Maybe he's more consistent playing around a Devin Booker, who's going to be a for sure number 1 on the team. And maybe if he gets his trade value up, you didn't dish him off to a different team. Dylan Brooks is a nice winning vet. Play some defense. Not shots down for your time. He's a culture setter, in my opinion. Pretty nice offseason. The Portland Trailblazers. They buy out DeAndre Ayton. They trade Anthony Simons for Jrue Holiday. And then they get Gary Temple to return a 1-year deal. Not an amazing offseason in my opinion. Jrue Holiday is a really nice vet to have in the locker room as a voice, but at the same time, he's not really too excited to be there. Maybe change his mind, say we'll trade you at the trade deadline. I was surprised they didn't trade him right away. Maybe they really did want to voice like how the Wizards are trying to build up a lot of vets in their locker room. But it's just kind of unfortunate that he doesn't want to be there. I understand you're older. You've been a part of 2 championship winning teams. You get traded from both. And now you're on the Trailblazers that's just trying to like grow their players and find their way. I would be upset too. weird offseason for them so far. Hopefully they can find something to do with Drew Holiday if it's just trading him. Yeah. Next for the Sacramento Kings. Dennis Schroeder agrees to a 3-year deal. Dario Saric comes via trade. They really needed a point guard. They got their point guard. They traded Jonas Valanciunas, which surprised me. I really don't understand that fully. Getting Dario Saric and trading Valanciunas, who had the chemistry with Domantas Sabonis. The thing is, I forgot they still haven't traded Domantas Sabonis. I'm not for sure he wants to be there. This team feels like it's a team just fighting for the play-in, just fighting for it, and I don't know if they can make it. They haven't really proved they can be a consistent team. Like, this team has a lot of good side players that can be role players or like a third guy on a real contending team. But nobody really wants because of contract situations and such. It's just a team filled with a nice amount of role players, in my opinion, that should be on winning competitive teams, but they're stuck on the Kings. I feel bad for Kings fans because you just got that taste of the playoffs, and now you're in this limbo of like the Miami Heat of just trying to fight for the play-in. But I can say the Heat, you just straight up make the play-in. Like, you don't know if you're gonna make the play-in with this talented West. There's a lot of teams out there that's good. Like, I doubt this happened, but the Trailblazers could be better than the Kings. Record-wise, they could be better than the Kings. The Kings can also deal with injuries. They have people that have dealt with injuries like Zach LaVine. I hope he doesn't get injured, of course. But it doesn't even feel like a mashup of great players together. Like, I don't feel their games benefit each other. I feel like they should just maybe blow up pretty soon, try to go into rebuild phase once again. I know that's sad to say, but there's not much there to become a real contender. And I don't see nobody really demanding a trade to go to Sacramento. They don't really have a crazy amount of assets. I don't see them getting, like a Giannis Antetokounmpo to change their ways. It's really unfortunate for Sacramento fans. I hope they can figure this out. Next is... Sorry, it scrolled all the way to the top. Next, the San Antonio Spurs. LOUK agrees on a 4-year deal. Nice backup to have for Wemby. I personally like they didn't trade for KD. I know there have been talks to potentially trade for him. Not trying to give up a lot, which I think could have been nice. But I really wanted to see them draft Dylan Harper. They now have Carter Bryant on the team as well. I think they just really need to let De'Aaron Fox and Wemby mesh and develop these young guys. I think this team could be really special. I think this team could be like an OKC Thunder where they have a bunch of young talent on the roster and they find a way to win. Wemby's going to be a problem if healthy. Like, I think he can make the playoffs and have some big playoff moments. They got a lot of defenders. They got a lot of people that can drive and get buckets. This is nice pickup to have LOUK to come off the bench. A productive role player. The Spurs are going to be a problem. The Toronto Raptors. They get Jakob Poeltl on a 4-year deal and Shinjo Maviusaki on a 2-year deal. I don't know what they're really doing. I know they rumored to trade RJ Barrett. They haven't done yet. I just think signing Jakob Poeltl for a 4-year deal more than Jarrett Allen's making. I know the money's going up, but this doesn't feel really like a smart move to be competitive. It's like, what direction is this team going to? What they want to do? And getting rid of Masai Ujiri, like, I think that hurts your chances of developing a really nice future roster. I just feel like they had a more solid direction. Are they going to try to tank again and try to get a really good draft pick? Do they not feel prepared or ready to try to make moves? Maybe they trade Jakob in the future, but I just don't feel like he should have demanded that much from y'all. And I don't know what to predict this team will be this season, right? Are they fighting for a play-in? Do they fall out? Yeah, I would like to see them make some moves. I'm just very confused. And also, it's extending Brandon Ingram when he hasn't played a game. You don't even know how he fits with the team. Maybe you think you could trade off of him if he doesn't fit. But he seems like he's having a real good time with them vibes-wise with the other players. But just very interesting. Next, the Utah Jazz. We're going to talk about their departures. They departed away from Jordan Clarkson by buying him out. Traded for Yusuf Nurkic my fault, for Colin Sexton. And then they got rid of Johnny Juzang. They waived him. This didn't feel like a great trade for Colin Sexton. I thought he could have demanded more. Like, I kind of don't understand why you get a Yusuf Nurkic. Maybe have a vet voice there. He could be a real valuable big. Maybe you look to trade him in the future. But I thought Colin Sexton could have got you more. Maybe a contending team or really fought for him. Then to waive Jordan Clarkson because he didn't have no trade value. This offseason just isn't amazing for the Utah Jazz. They said they want to be competitive. Maybe they felt Nurkic gave him more a competitive approach because he's been in like the Ring of Fire being competitive. Yeah, I don't know what direction this team is. They won a lot for Walker Kessler. I don't know if they're going to get what they want for Walker Kessler. They want like 2 picks and a young asset. I doubt that happens. But just kind of weird from the Utah Jazz. They should have made these trades a while ago for Jordan Clarkson, and they might trade John Collins. I forgot about. Did they get rid of him? And what's that for? He could be potentially bought out too. The Washington Wizards, the final team. They didn't re-sign anybody. They got C.J. McCollum via trade, Dylan Jones via trade, and Kelly Olynyk via trade. Some nice vets to have on the team. Try to be more competitive this season. Just get a few more wins. Develop the young guys. I think some nice moves for them. Nothing too crazy. But yeah. So that's my thoughts on the first 3 days of free agency. It's been pretty active, but not too hectic. Like Miles Turner was probably one of the biggest free agent ordeals. Kevin Durant being traded was pretty huge. CJ being traded felt out of the blue. The Cam Johnson and PJ trade was really nice. I'm really intrigued to see where the rest of this free agency goes. I hope we get some moves. What's the ordeal of LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, some of these teams that need to make moves like the Warriors? What just happens? Where does Zane go? But yeah, I can't wait to talk about the draft and my thoughts on the draft in my next video and talk about Summer League. Please like, subscribe. Tell me what you enjoyed, what you didn't like, what I need to improve on. And until next time, peace.